The Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey, you new to the area or just want to know about the best hidden gems and upcoming events? Stay tuned. Be Local Buzz with Devin takes you to these places, introduces you to the best businesses, and tells you about upcoming buzz. Preset your radio to Tan Talk 1340 AM or 106.1 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. That is the Be Local Buzz with Devin on Tan Talk 1340 AM and 106 FM every Thursday from 4 to 5. Looking forward to speaking with you.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
It's now time for Connecting Caregivers with author, speaker, caregiver advocate, and talk show host, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for caregivers.
Caregivers around the world today, it's time to lift you up. It's time to celebrate. Good afternoon and welcome to Connecting Caregivers with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned. Now on the boards, we have our friend Ed today. How you doing, Ed?
Good morning. I understand you're back from some nice cool weather up there.
Yes, it was beautiful in Canada. I was up in Quebec. I did some fishing. I did some pontooning and some four-wheel driving. It was a lot of fun. It was nice. And it was cool, but not too cold. But I still needed gloves. You know, maybe everybody else that was there lives in Canada. And they go, oh, we know who's the Floridian here. But yeah, it was just delightful. So yeah, I just got it back home last night.
And you brought the humidity because it was lovely.
Was it?
It really was really nice, wasn't it? I mean, really, there was not as much humidity, but today it's back with a vengeance.
It was tolerable.
Exactly. I mean, I went walking, and besides the dog knocking me down, it was good.
Oh my God. That dog's still around?
Yeah, you ran into a lady's house that's like really old.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So you know who that is. That's my best friend, my co-host, and my sidekick, not psychic, Lynn Thornley.
Good afternoon. I'm here.
I'm here.
Welcome home.
I have like a half a phone.
I know.
Oh my goodness. I'm in Canada the day before yesterday, and I take this lovely picture, and then all of a sudden my phone goes black. Black. Then it comes back on and won't let me swipe on anything. And then it goes black, dead. I'm like, I can't deal with this. Oh my God. I'm just going to like plug it in and go to bed, and it's going to be all better in the morning. Nah, black. So I was at T-Mobile this morning, and then you got to do a claim online with your insurance. And so I have my friend in Canada, her sister-in-law gave me one of her phones. We took the SIM card out and put it in this, but it only picks up some of the stuff, not everything. But it's something. And you don't realize how attached you get to. I mean, my calendars are on there. At one point, my old phone came back on for a minute. I'm like, let me take a picture of my calendar because I don't know what the hell I'm doing this week. You know, and it's like, I got to go pick up Charlie from the babysitters. I'm not good without the GPS. So
is there GPS on there?
Yes, I found a Google Maps. All the searches are in Canada, but I put in St.
Oh, there you go.
So it must be hers because I am now Kim Stanbridge, but I'm grateful for her.
But you came in as your phone number, right?
Yeah, because my SIM card's in there.
Right.
But for some reason, it only picks up some stuff. You know, it doesn't pick up all your calendar.
I wonder why.
Yeah, and then I go to my calendar on my email on Gmail, and the only thing it shows on my calendar for the month is curves and the chiropractor.
There you go. You got a good month coming up.
I don't have to do nothing this month.
There you go. Anyone talk to you? You can send them to me. I'll tell them.
But I do have a lot to do this month. And we're going to talk about it a little bit later. There's a lot of things coming up, some speaking engagements, some conferences, and a whole bunch of good stuff. But I'm excited to say today that we have as a guest on the show, Jill Couch. I believe she's on the line already. You're with us, Jill?
I'm right here. Yes, thank you.
Hello, my friend. How are you today?
I'm good. It's a beautiful northern Colorado day.
Beautiful.
And what would the temperature be in a beautiful Colorado day?
In mid-September, it is about 77 degrees.
Oh, my.
That's lovely.
Oh, my.
That's very lovely.
Oh, well, December's coming in Florida.
Right.
So Jill and I met a couple of months ago, and I love everything that she does. She's a Dawn dementia care specialist, and she got on this journey after a journey with her grandmother with dementia. and she promised herself that she would get it right. And she has a website called betterpeoplecare.com, and I just like the name of that, betterpeoplecare.com.
LLC.
And LLC. And I've looked at the website a couple of times, but I was looking at it again yesterday. And at one point, your words are, we can do better and we should do better. And that's all of it in a nutshell to me.
Right.
So tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your background first.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. My precious grandmother was an amazing woman. And
what was her name?
Her name was Mary Alice.
Mary Alice.
Yep.
Sounds like a grandma.
Yep. She grew up in a sod house on a homestead in western Nebraska. And people like her and her generation are amazing people. But she faded from this life with the same journey, unfortunately, that a lot of people still fade from this life, move from home to independent living, decline a little, move to assisted living, decline more, move to skilled nursing. And in about that assisted living phase, I just couldn't figure out, why is she spending so much time in her room? Why is she spending so much time in her chair? Why is she spending so much time in her recliner? And I'm an occupational therapist, but I didn't know at the time. But as she continued to fade, I said, I can never let this happen again to somebody I care about. So fast forward to about 2017, that was 2003. And I met Judy Cornish, who founded the Dawn Method, developed the Dawn Method. And very quickly I saw, oh my goodness, we really can
make a difference.
Differently. Yep, we can do it differently. We can have a journey in dementia where people experiencing dementia live well, which means so do their caregivers.
Exactly.
And your show is all about caregiving. And I, from my observation since 2017, doing this work, founding a business, leading a team, working with people experiencing dementia and their families and communities, the best caregiver care in dementia is when people learn the Dawn Method.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just been really remarkable to see the impact that it makes. So that was my grandmother's story. And then I had the privilege of walking through this journey with my own dad.
With your dad.
Yep. And we got it right. He passed away this last January, lived in his own home, and lived well, lived as large as possible.
Yeah.
Until he drew his last breath.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what we all want to do. We all want to live as large as possible.
Right.
We all want to have a purpose. We all want to have other people around us. We all want to have a conversation somewhere.
You know, we spend time with a lot of people in these senior communities, and they're well-intended. They serve a purpose. But I just wonder, why have we separated out our elders into these communities of this homogenous group of people?
Yeah.
It just puzzles me, rather than having people continue to live in society and you know, we care for them. But
well, we can do that as we educate them, because first of all, we have I don't know how many millions of caregivers right now in just in the United States that don't have a clue, that either became a caregiver overnight because their loved one had a stroke or a fall or whatever, or they've become a caregiver so gradually they don't even realize they're a caregiver.
Right.
So my happiness is that we're talking about this a whole lot more now.
Right.
Because there are different ways to handle everything. And we're taking care of people we truly love.
Right. Right. I get a little worried as a society when we refer to family caregivers as unpaid family caregivers.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
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 It's just, you know, we have to look at it differently. You know, many times someone will come to a support group and they'll say to me, "Oh, mom's just sitting in the chair. She's not doing anything." Well, I'm sorry, you took everything away from her. Because if I make the fruit salad, I can do it in 10 minutes. If mom
Right.
helps me with the fruit salad, it's going to probably be about a half an hour. But who am I serving?
Right. And the Dawn method helped me understand that mom is sitting in the chair because she's lost the cognitive skills that allow her to initiate.
Mhm.
And that's why we need to learn different ways to relate. And I needed to learn that it was me that could partner with mom we work together on fruit salad, turn it into a companionable experience. Yes, it takes more time. We have to be prepared for that. But then we have mom who's gotten some exercise. She's had a sense of value. She's had a dose of well-being.
Yep.
We've had this companionable time. And as we focus in on that time, we kind of get a break from the cognitive clutter in our own lives. We're both better off at the end of that if we relax into it and if we understand.
Yeah. Well,
But I needed to learn that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So explain exactly what the Dawn method is.
Great. The Dawn method was developed by a woman who simply started spending time with people experiencing dementia. She had no training. She's intelligent, but she began to notice patterns. And then after 5 years of spending time with people experiencing dementia, she read everything she could get her hands on and put down on paper these patterns that she saw. So what she saw was that there are predictable patterns in dementia where people, yes, indeed, they lose 3 very important cognitive skills, but they also keep 3 very important cognitive skills. When we understand that, we understand why mom is sitting in the chair, for example, but we also understand how we can bring the right incentive to her day to get her up out of the chair. So, but the tools of the Dawn method are to meet the emotional needs of people experiencing dementia, because you and we're on this show because we could go through the process of accessing the show. I can dial your phone number. We're doing it because it brings us meaning. We hope it's going to be helpful because we had the cognitive skills to make it happen. Well, those are the very cognitive skills people experiencing dementia are losing. So they need partners who understand how to skillfully meet their emotional needs, the first 3 of which are a sense of safety.
Yeah.
And when we meet those emotional needs, we have companions who it's like they take a deep breath of relief and they're less stressed, which means I, as a professional caregiver, families as family caregivers are also less stressed.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because when my loved one is happier, when my loved one is doing better, I'm doing better. You know,
Right.
Recently, my granddaughter said to me, she's going to a therapist for some things. And I said, what are you going to say about me when you're in therapy? And she said to me, Grandma, all I can say is you always protected me.
Mm.
And I was
That's
like,
lovely.
oh, thank you, baby girl, because to feel protected.
Right.
And for people with dementia, so many of them don't feel protected. They don't even feel like someone sees them.
Right. It breaks my heart.
But we can make a difference.
We can make a difference. Yep. And like I say, my observation is the Dawn method is the best remedy for caregiver stress for this dementia journey. And I, try to have families, even long distance family members, learn enough because they still can have a really meaningful and important impact on their loved one's life. But when they bring positive mood to the loved one, that caregiver spouse has somebody who's in a better mood.
Yeah.
So we're always looking after the well-being of that caregiver.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the virtual dementia tour?
I have heard of that.
So a friend of mine works in a senior community, and she just did it recently for the employees and for some of the family members of the people that live there. And what they do is they'll put some goggles on you that you can't really see very clearly out of, and they'll put some headphones on you can't really hear clearly, and they'll put like gloves on you with like rice in your fingertips so you can't really pick things up easily. And they'll ask you to go in this room and they might ask you to fold the towels or write something on a piece of paper and put it in an envelope. And I'm thinking, oh, piece of cake, I could do this. No, I couldn't.
Mhm.
I couldn't. Lynn was much more patient than I was.
But I cursed when I walked
Yeah, she said a
in
bad word though, but
because they had
Oh.
strobe lights going, and but it didn't upset me. Linda was upset because she couldn't do it.
yeah, I was frustrated.
You
I'm
would
like,
be
I
a
hope I never
lousy-
get dementia.
You'd
You
be a
know?
lousy patient.
Yes, I
Me,
would
I
be.
was like, ooh, I can't fold this.
But
Butler, come over here.
Yes. But you know, at that time when you and I did it, and when I spoke to my girlfriend Lori the other day, when her employees did it, it just opens your eyes so much to what your loved one is going through.
Right.
You know, when a caregiver goes in there and does that, and she comes out and she's like, "Oh my goodness, I
Yeah.
can understand better."
Yeah. So we teach the Dawn method from the perspective of what the person experiencing dementia is going through, what they're experiencing, because we've, spent so much time. They are the experts. They will show us, they will let us know how they're doing by what they say, by what they do. I mean, they have taught me so much. But it was interesting just yesterday. I was on the phone with a family for the first time, and Dad is doing some things that seem bizarre. And as I listened to their story, I said, it sounds to me like Dad is doing this to bring to himself a sense of value. And they went, oh,
Yeah.
okay. And just helping them shift from, this is so bizarre, Dad is crazy, this is so annoying, he's causing such trouble, to, oh, wait a minute, Dad has some emotional needs he's working very hard to meet. To us, it looks bizarre. To him, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just that shift was, I think, an important shift for that family.
Oh, I'm sure it was, because we need people to guide us and teach us, because we don't know. We haven't done this before.
Right.
There was no school for this. Nobody talks about it. People are just starting to talk about it now. I mean, when I started doing this 18 years ago, nobody was talking about it. Nobody talked about dementia. Now it's on television. Now it's all over the place, which is fabulous.
It sure is.
Because the more we talk about it, the more we can find solutions.
Right. One of the components of dementia that is still just barely being talked about, but is a game changer, is anosognosia.
Explain that
And
to
I'm
me.
sure anosognosia is when the part of the brain that would let somebody be self-aware of their disability, that part of the brain is failing alongside whatever part of the brain's being impacted by whatever's causing dementia. So what that means is, if a family member says, I've told Dad 100 times he has dementia and he just needs to get over it and get used to it. I even had the doctor write a letter. And in Dad's assessment, he's just fine.
Yeah.
Because in his brain, he really is, because the part of his brain that would let him understand he has a problem and that problem is affecting his day-to-day, that part isn't working.
Yeah.
And people have no anosognosia, they have partial. Some can say, oh, my memory's terrible. Have no idea how incapable they're becoming of managing their life. And that's a game changer, because we stop fighting to help people understand they have dementia. And instead, we begin to protect them from the reality they have dementia. And we begin to do things in what we say a caregiving by stealth manner. Works so much better.
Yeah. You know, it's just like when it comes to the point where you shouldn't be driving anymore.
Yes.
You know, I hope when the time comes that I shouldn't be driving anymore, that I can say, okay, I shouldn't be driving anymore. But
right.
There could be a good chance that I'm going to be saying, don't tell me.
No, we're going to get one of those cars and sit in the back.
Yeah, those self-driving
Yeah, the
cars.
self-driving car. I mean, honestly, those might be a great option someday.
I
But
know.
you're
I'm
exactly right.
excited. I'm excited
Yeah.
about that. I do it now. I hate driving.
Well, I always say with the driving and everything, if you have to take the keys away, or you're having that conversation, just give them an alternative. Because many times, if you give them an alternative, an Uber or this kind of ride, or I will take you every week to get your hair done, or whatever it is, then many times they'll be like, okay, that sounds good.
Right. And that is my number. I do a lot of driving assessments, and that's my number one recommendation is replace the sense of a need to drive. However, if there's anosognosia and diminished rational thinking, they're still going to look at you and say, but I'm the one that taught you how to drive.
Yeah.
But my driving record is perfect, but I'm fine. Look at me. So then we find other ways.
Yeah. I remember this one person was in my support group, and her husband was just so thick, and he wanted to drive, and he wanted to golf. And the granddaughter said, I will come and take you every week to golf because I get to be in the car with you for a half hour on the way. And I get to chat with you when we're there, even if I don't golf with you. And then I get to go home with you and maybe have a little lunch. And when they approached it that way, he was much more agreeable.
Right. We look for clever ways to meet their emotional need in the process of getting them in the passenger seat.
Yeah. So how can caregivers, you know what? Before we talk a little bit further, we're going to take a little break, okay?
All right.
We'll be right back. Now it's time to hear from our wonderful partners, because you know the deal. If you don't hear from them, you don't hear from me. So don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
Are you getting older, or are you taking care of somebody who is? Getting older creates new problems you probably never imagined. One of the big ones is, how do you pay for care? Care in your home, care in an assisted living facility, or care in a nursing home. Did you know that nursing home care in our community can cost up to $12,000 per month? For the last 33 years, our office has helped families access benefits, including Medicaid, VA, and PACE, to help pay for the cost of long-term care. Regardless of what your assets are or what your income is, you can qualify for these benefits. Proper planning and guidance are absolutely necessary to avoid being wiped out. Let us help. If you are in care or heading in that direction, we can help solve that problem. Take action now to obtain benefits to pay for the cost of care. Here are the 4 things that you need to do. 1, get a new power of attorney. Your old one probably isn't good enough. Get a healthcare surrogate and a living will. 3, get an estate plan that will not disqualify you from benefits. And 4, get a plan to qualify for Medicaid, PACE, or VA benefits to pay for the long-term care costs. Call us today for a free consultation, 727-539-0181, or go to flmedicaid.com and download our free book on Medicaid and planning for long-term care. I'm Sean Scott. I'm here to help.
Guaranteed to make you laugh through your tears, Linda Burhan's book, Good Night and God Bless, is filled with humor and heartfelt inspiration to aid anyone facing the challenge of caring for a loved one at the end of life. Her story offers hope for human strength and understanding of weaknesses during a difficult time. Life doesn't normally prepare us to become a loved one's caregiver. When it happens, it's usually sudden. A diagnosis of an illness, age-related frailty, dementia, and life suddenly is anything but normal. And because we don't even know what we don't know, where do we turn to for help or guidance? In Connecting Caregivers, Answers to the Questions You Didn't Know You Needed to Ask, Linda offers information, education, and inspiration from her own experience and from experts whose advice, practical tools, and personal stories will empower and guide you. Make sure to add these inspiring books to your collection today. Available on Amazon.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And we are back. So before we talk a little bit further, Jill, I neglected to say a shout out to our newest listeners when the show started. So I want to say a shout out to Ginger from Clearwater, Cindy from Largo, and Jill from Dunedin.
Welcome, ladies.
Yeah, there's always plenty of room around the Connecting Caregivers table for more listeners. So thank you for being with us today. Lynn, you had a question you asked me during the break.
Yeah, I wanted to know what DON stood for. The letters, acronym.
Yeah, good. Yep, it's the Dementia and Alzheimer's Wellbeing Network.
Dementia and
Alzheimer's Wellbeing Network.
Perfect.
DAWN.
Okay.
And Judy chose that name because she saw the hope and the beauty and the well-being that was possible in dementia rather than the message that we so often hear, which is all about loss.
Yeah. Yeah. There can even be growth in certain aspects and certain things.
Right.
You know, I had a caregiver one time that contacted me, and she said, my mother was the best mother till I was 10 years old. And then she got in a car accident and got addicted to opiates. And then she was the worst mother in the world. She said she brought all sorts of strange people home to our house. So as soon as I was old enough, I got out of the house. She said, fast forward 23 years later, my mother has Alzheimer's and I need to care for her. And the mom's mad, she's mad, everybody's mad, and nothing I'm suggesting is working. And one day I was just like praying, dear God, give me something here. And I called her and I said, Julie, tell me about a really good time with your mother. And she said, you know, when I used to come home from school, my mother used to brush my hair, and she still has long hair. And I said, do you think you could go to your mom and say, Mom, nobody ever brushed my hair the way you did? And she said to me, you know, you're pushing it. Well, you know what? Every afternoon now at 4:00, her mother brushes her hair. She said, and I get to be the little girl and she gets to be the mom, and we're trying to forget about the other stuff.
Right. Yep. That was wonderful advice. And that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how can caregivers save themselves?
So the tools of the Dawn method, it's a bit like learning a new language, but as they learn these new ways to relate, then they eliminate the possibility, reduce the possibility that they're going to be the ones who unintentionally are causing their loved ones stress. So it's tools, kind of like you need tools to build a house correctly. In this case, we need tools to build the emotional well-being of this person who now is losing the ability to do that for themselves. So we get these tools, we meet emotional needs, we make it less likely that it's us triggering. You said, Linda, you said, somebody tries to take your keys away, you're going to fight. Well, that's what dementia-related behaviors are about, is a stress response to something they can't understand. They can't figure out what the heck to do about it. They feel a threat.
Who wants to feel out of control?
Exactly.
Nobody.
Exactly. So in the process of caregivers learning how to meet the emotional needs of their loved one who's losing that ability for themselves, they meet their own emotional needs to feel more safe, to feel less stress, to enjoy beauty. So we talk a lot about in the Dawn method about bringing beauty to your loved one's life. Well, if I'm standing at the flower garden here in Fort Collins because it's what's good for my companion experiencing dementia, well, I'm also standing at the flower garden in Fort Collins, taking in all this beauty. And so even a few moments of that is a break for a caregiver.
Yeah. People tell me all the time, my mom can't do this anymore. She can't do that. I go, can she walk or can you push her in a wheelchair? Just go outside. We live in Florida. It's
Right.
gorgeous here. There are flowers
Right.
here. There are everything. And everybody's got that little camera on their cell phone. Just go for a little cruise and take a picture of a flower.
Right. Absolutely. And, you know, if your loved one's in a wheelchair, well, take a stroll pushing them in the wheelchair and stop and notice everything. You know, I didn't realize how many different colors of leaves, different shapes of trees. I stepped onto the front porch of one of my companions last week. She has pine trees by her front door, and I heard the mountains. Yeah. And I've never noticed that before. I don't think I would have had I not learned how to be a noticer because of the Dawn method.
Oh, definitely. You know, for 14 years now, every morning when I wake up, I take my dog for a walk. I go out on the dock, I say my prayers, and I take a photo of the sunrise or a bird or a flower. And I just say, good morning. Well, you know how many beautiful things you see during the day when you get into that habit? You'll be walking across a parking lot and that's tar and there'll be one little yellow flower coming up and you see it.
Right. And if you're with somebody experiencing dementia, their ability to see, if they can still see and notice beauty, is intact, and you draw their attention to it. And if you spend 15 seconds looking at that with them, you both get a break, but you give them an uptick in positive mood. And then you walk through your day with somebody who's in a little better mood.
Yeah. And I'm in a little better mood.
Right.
I mean, I say to my caregivers, they're so focused many times on eating, on pooping, on peeing, and let's get back to basics here for a second. You know, they're walking around, they're giving orders, they take your pills, eat this now we got to bathe. Just sit down and talk to your mom. Just hold her hand.
Talk with her, not at her.
What?
Talk with her, not at her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yep, that's right. And you know, people experiencing dementia repeat their stories because those stories are red letter days in their history. And we talked about listen well, memorize them. And then because then there's a day when they can't initiate those stories, but you can. And it has been amazing to bring back to my companions who are at end of life those favorite stories. And pretty soon they're right there with me. And we are connecting on a soul level because I've just memorized their story and I'm telling it back to them in their own words. And this is why we don't have to lose our loved ones to dementia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we can learn to relate on that soul, heart to heart level. And
that's what it's all about.
Yes, the relationship changes, but we can still have this really sweet connection.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about how to handle pressure from others about my self-care as a caregiver. And I know they're well-intended, but it's exhausting. I just spoke to someone about this morning. Many times I think when you ask a caregiver, how can I help you? You just put one more thing on their list. Oh God, I got to think about how you could help me. But I find people keep asking and the caregiver says, no, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. And then people stop asking because they don't want to get in your space. And then you're home at night crying. I have to do this by myself because you said no to everybody.
Right. You're right. That is such a big issue. And I coach adult children that, listen, your parent who's the caregiver does not need you telling them over and over, Dad, you need to get some help. Dad, you got to take care of yourself. Dad, this is wearing you out. Dad, you look so tired. They do need help. I mean, I couldn't do my dad's journey without help. I really believe people need a tribe.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and don't think you're the only person that can mow your lawn.
Right. And I encourage adult kids, your parents, your caregiver parent, their emotional needs are just probably as unmet and needed as the parent experiencing dementia. So step in with your coffee at the time you know they drink coffee and just sit there and be with them. Let them share what they want to share. If they want to talk about the moon and the sun, great. If they want to talk about mom who's struggling with dementia, fine, great. But just be there.
Yeah,
Honestly,
maybe they don't
that's
want to
what
talk. Maybe they just want to sit.
Right. But I also encourage family members, observe the caregiver spouse. Observe the caregiver. You will likely see some things that you can do. Let's say they mention off the cuff, oh, I just love strawberry pie. We'll show up sometime with 2 slices of strawberry pie or 3.
Yeah.
If the person experiencing dementia can still enjoy strawberry pie and just brighten their day with a piece of strawberry pie. That's a lot more important than the pressure to, oh my goodness, you've got to take care of yourself.
Well, I always tell people, if you don't know what to do when you go to the store, whatever's BOGO, just get it and drop it off at their house.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Whether it's BOGO cookies, BOGO's toilet paper, whatever it is. And I'm sure they'll be very glad that you did that. And I also say to caregivers, take a little time to write down a list of some things that you can accept help with. Because then when someone asks you, you can just pull out the list, and I'm sure they're going to pick something off the list. They're like, you know what? I could take your garbage cans out every Tuesday and Friday and bring them back in. That could be a big deal for somebody.
Right. One of the things that caregiver spouses, adult children caregivers have taught me is that if we can get the journey to a place where it's lower stress, they are okay getting tired, being worn out, etc., for the meaning in being a caregiver. That they're very well aware of the difficulty and the struggle, but they tell me over and over, but why wouldn't I be doing this? What else am I going to do with my life? I know this is exhausting, but I am called to do this. It's frustrating. It's hard. Sometimes I cry, but I wouldn't do anything different. And I would say the same thing about my journey with my dad. I wouldn't trade 1 second of the time I spent with him. Was it hard? Yes. Was I living life between 2 states, 450 miles apart? Yes. But it was a profound, important season for me and for our whole family. And I wouldn't do a single thing different.
Yeah, I feel a lot of that with the journey I had with my mother. I mean, I got to spend every single day with her for the last 18 months of her life, except one day when I went to jury duty, they wouldn't let me bring her. But, I am so grateful for that. And then there was times it was difficult, not as difficult as many other situations that I hear about in my groups and everything. But for me, it was difficult. But when I look at it, I feel like I was privileged.
Right.
She picked me. She wanted to be with me. She trusted me. My mother always said she would never move to Florida. She hated it. It's too hot. And one day I said to her, Mom, how come you moved to Florida? And she said, because out of all the kids, you make me laugh the most. And I know you'll take care of me.
Right. And you bring up a good point about humor. Oh boy, whenever I can bring in humor, I do. I was with my precious companion who's 94 years old. And we hopped in my car. I got her wheelchair. I wheeled her into the little local library. We were going to get some large print books she could read. But as we went in the front door, they were having their book sale. And I saw the book, 5 Little Monkeys Jumping on the Bed. And I said, oh my goodness, my kids and I used to love this book. Now notice my approach is drawing her into this book because it mattered to me.
Yeah.
But I was pretty sure it was going to matter to her. Her daughter now has ordered copies of almost every version of that book and is going to record her mom reading that book for the grandkids and great-grandkids.
I love that.
Her mom derives such joy. Just yesterday, she read it to me. I've never heard her laugh so loud and so deep.
Yeah, it's so important. A couple of months ago, I did a survey of my over 3,000 caregivers, and I said, what do you want from me? I do conferences, I do events, I do different things, support groups. What do you want from me? And the people came back and they said, we're tired of caregiver guilt and caregiver burnout and Alzheimer's and dementia and everything else. Linda, can you just make us laugh?
Right.
So I'm doing stand-up comedy now. So
That's great.
I've made a commitment. It's almost 60 days now to do a joke every day on Facebook, TikTok, or whatever. I'm going to do some different events because we need to laugh so bad. Everybody needs to laugh, not just caregivers.
And, listen, my day was made a whole lot better reading Five Little Monkeys.
Oh, yes.
It brought joy to me as much as it did her.
Well, I think the thing is, too, when you were going into the library, you kind of set her up, too.
Right.
And I think that's another thing we have to learn to do with our loved ones is set them up for success.
Right.
When I used to go visit my uncle, I'd be like, hey, Uncle Jimmy, it's me, your niece, Linda, your favorite niece, Linda.
Right. And I wasn't afraid to read that book aloud right there in the middle of the library.
Yeah.
And hone in on that experience with her. And in that way, I let community know, hey, there's something a little different going on here, but look, they're having a great time. Yeah.
Yeah. We just have to let them have the exposure and put them, I remember going to a memory care community one time and some people came in and they had the parachutes and the balloons. They were doing all those different games. And there was one woman who was non-responsive, but they brought her every time into the room anyway. And she just sat in a chair. Well, we found out that she liked horses. So then every time somebody went, they brought her a horse, whether it was a horse statue or a stuffed animal horse or whatever it was. And then one day we were sitting around the table and someone mentioned something about horses and she just raised her hand.
Wow.
Because she was in the conversation.
Right. Exactly.
I could cry right now.
Exactly.
Because she was in the conversation.
Yep.
I don't want to be that girl sitting in the chair. Nobody's talking to me.
Right. Right. And the sad thing is it's happening in senior communities
everywhere,
all over this country. Yeah. And I just don't get it.
So how do people learn about the Dawn Method? Is there a class? Is there a website? Give us the whole spiel.
Yep. There's a website, the Dawn, DAWN method.com. And I always tell people to go to the Families tab first. And if you scroll down in the Families tab, you'll see the Dementia Roadmap. And the Families tab is about caring for a loved one with dementia at home. It applies to all situations, though. But go to that Dementia Roadmap, and there are 8 different points people can go through that'll lay a foundation for we are doing things differently with dementia. It's working. We're getting it right. And start there. And then there are 3 different ways to learn further through the Dawn classes and the Dawn books. But please, anybody can reach out to me. I'll visit with anybody anywhere in the world about how this journey can be better.
Yeah. So grateful for you. That's a big deal. That's a big deal because we need somebody to reach out. You know about the Eden alternative, right?
I do.
Yeah, I'm Eden certified. I took the course years ago.
Great.
Similar, just different ways that we can approach aging, different ways that we can take care of our loved ones so that we can find the joy in the journey.
Right.
So we can appreciate every moment that we might not have ever had with them before.
Right.
So.
I had one daughter who had a broken relationship with her mom all of her life. Her mom develops dementia. She learns a little bit of the Dawn Method. And about a year later, she said, everybody should have a chance to take care of their parent because it can be beautiful and it'll change your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
So can you give that website one more time, please?
You bet. TheDawnMethod.com.
Okay, and I'll put all the information in the show. Thank you so much for being with us today. I so appreciate you.
I was happy to be part of the good work you're doing, Linda.
All right, we'll talk soon, my friend.
All right.
Have a delicious day.
Thank you guys too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. And now it's time to hear from our wonderful partners, so don't go away. We'll be right back on Connecting Caregivers Radio.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Choosing the right chiropractor is an important choice to make. Located in Seminole, the Alexander Spine Center team is trained on the latest chiropractic treatments and technologies. At Alexander Spine Center, you'll find chiropractic and physical therapy care that is safe, effective, and a natural approach to pain and other health-related issues. Chiropractic unlocks your body's potential and natural healing process to ensure your life is a healthy life. We treat clients from the womb to the tomb. Call 727-397-3000 for a free consultation today, or visit our website at www.alexanderspinecenter.com.
They take good care of me twice a week, so check them out.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides.
We believe the power of the human body and mind can do amazing things, and that tapping into that power, not just tricking it with a temporary disguise, is possible. Superpatch technology uses a special pattern and vibrotactile technology to help you go from feeling blah to hurrah. Now, once the Superpatch is in contact with your skin, it triggers a neutral response in the brainstem that helps you tackle your daily problems head on. Whether you're struggling with pain, balance, stress, or focus, we have a solution that might be right for you. With Superpatch's 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Hi, this is Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers. I started using the Liberty Patch over 3 years ago. I used to be a tripper, but since wearing the Liberty Patch, I haven't tripped once. The Liberty Patch is proven to reduce the risk of falling by up to 8 times. And as we all know, if you prevent the fall, you prevent the call. Don't wait until it's too late. Preventative solutions are the answer.
Superpatch does not claim to diagnose, treat, or cure illness. Superpatch is FDA registered. To receive 25% off your first order, go to sticktoit.info. That's sticktoit.info and learn more.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
I always love when we talk to new people and find other alternatives that there are for caregiving, because it's not going away. I will say, though, I've been reading a lot of new things in the news lately that they're coming up, really progressing with some things for Alzheimer's and dementia. And I would just love to see that happen. So we have some events coming up. On October 7th, I will be speaking at Arden Courts Largo, from burnout to balance. It is at 11:30 to 1 o'clock on October 7th. The lunch will be provided. You can RSVP to 727-559-8411. I'll put the information in the show. Please come and join us. Then on October 23rd, Dr. Kate is going to be doing a presentation, a 360-degree view of dementia diagnosis at Arden Courts Seminole. And that is also, I don't see the time here. Oh, it's at 10 a.m. And you can RSVP to 727-732-3711. And then on October 15th will be my fabulous panel. We'll have a panel of 6 experts. I will be the moderator. We will have a lovely lunch. We will have some entertainment at lunchtime. So that's October 15th at Seminole City Park. And you can RSVP to me, Linda Burhans at AOL.com, or you can phone or preferably text me at 727-365-8383. Thanks so much for being with us today. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you learned something new. Remember, God loves you all the time, and have a delicious day.